Everyone, it's Lady Mystic. I want to come on this morning and do a card read and see how everyone's day is going. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Here in New Jersey, we have gloom and rain, but, no matter what it is, it's still going to be a happy day. Let's see what we have here. I had such a good response yesterday on my video. I thought today maybe I would do another one on a positive outcome of, well, I don't even know what to talk about today. I had an interesting night last night, and my husband didn't get home till 4:30 this morning. So the sleep department around here has been kind of interesting. Okay, let's see what our card today says. The card says empathy. The card states, I am open to seeing both sides of the situation. And this card is pretty interesting because sometimes in a conversation there's only one side to be seen. And sometimes you have to be able to know both sides of the situation to be able to get a balance into the situation. We're watching 101 Dalmatians on TV, so if you see me giggling, it's because there's always puppies running around everywhere, and they're really cute. But anyway, this has a lot to do with what's been going on the last 24 hours. We all have good days and bad days and interesting situations and situations that are positive and fun and exciting and, sometimes, but it's not always like that. And sometimes you have to take the time to figure out a balance on your own behalf and try to see the better outcome of the situation and not always stand and fight. Because sometimes not knowing the whole situation and feeling like you're being attacked, or you're, not exactly understanding what's going on and things around you are changing for positive or not for positive. Sometimes it's really hard to understand all these situations. But empathy is very important because if you, take the time to get both, sides of the story and to understand the other person's well-being and what they're going through and how they feel, and maybe you'll understand why they're reacting the way they do, or maybe they don't know any better, or they haven't been taught to handle situations without acting the wrong way, or not looking at the whole situation and just judging one side of the situation. And I'm personally myself, I've come from a very interesting background in my life and learned a lot of interesting lessons. Most of as I have grown up, I have kind of changed the way that I let other people affect my ability to think. But sometimes the past will come around and haunt you, and that is, the reason you have to work very hard in learning how to deal with those situations and let those situations go and realize the situation on both sides. I guess you can call the track or the road or whatever you want, or the room for that matter, and learn how to adapt to the situation you're in and learn how to not keep things inside that are not helping you or the other person or your children or your family. And it's very important to figure out how to deal with all that. I'm trying to think exactly what I want to say motivational today. I'm going to talk about family. And the reason I'm going to talk about family is because family is what helps us mold us into who we're going to be as we grow. And it has to do with a lot of different things, not just personal, but inside as well. Our genetic background, our DNA background, our way of being raised. Everything affects that step of that journey that we take to become adults and to grow up and to have children and have families of our own and learn how to make decisions and how to handle situations that's going on around us. And, I'm not innocent of this as well. I had a very hard upbringing, being a minister's child and dealing with a lot of different stresses. And I used a lot of excuses on why I became, I don't want to say, a rebellion. And now that I've gotten to the age I am now and I've learned so much more about life, I do realize that it wasn't the fault of someone else that I lashed out or I became different. It's because I allowed that person or persons or environment or places or whatever the case was to control how I felt, and I let it make me very hard to deal with, very rebellious. I got into a lot of trouble. I did a lot of things I shouldn't have done. I, become very hateful and mean. And as, it went by, I realized to myself why I couldn't get a relationship to work, or why I couldn't hang out very long with one individual, because, I didn't trust. I was unable to communicate because I had let so much anger and so much frustration and so many things deter how I was going to be, because I could not see past that. And now that I've grown up and I've learned these things and I've learned how to handle situations, my outcome is much different, and I have the most amazing husband in the world. And the only reason I have this most amazing husband in the world is because of the situations that got me to this point. It's made me a very strong person, very outgoing, very opinionated, very not censored, kind of a hard exterior. Some people say I'm very domineering, or I'm a little scary once in a while, but I thank everything for each step that I've taken in my journey, even my ex-husband being abusive and making me very angry and very it was a very hard situation, and it took me many years to learn how to adapt to that. And, for anyone else out there, that's going through something that is very difficult and very hard, and, from one thing to another, from being abused to being in a relationship that it's toxic, or not being able to adapt to the situation, there's a few things you have to remember. One, it's not your fault. And two, it's not because of something you have done. And no matter how you think in your mind and how you feel about the situation, walking on tulips, or feeling like you're walking around on ice chips, or if maybe you don't say this, or maybe you don't say that, or maybe if you don't react, or maybe if you're too opinionated, or none of that matters, because it's not you. You have to remember you are who you are, whether the person that you have chosen to spend the rest of your life with, or that you've decided to marry, and sometime around the area things start to change, and that person is not that Prince Charming or that princess in a pedestal, or whatever the case may be, and you feel kind of trapped, or you feel scared, or you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like you're living behind a cloud. You're not alone, and believe me, I've been there. And I'm not ashamed to say, I was abused, and I let a man destroy, who I was and what I wanted to be, and I became very seclusive and very inward. And I believed, if I wore long sleeves, or if I covered up this or that, nobody would know, and I would not be, sorry, my cat's after me, or I would not be a weak person. But in all reality, now that I look back at that situation and I have come to grips with it, I still have issues, and I still am affected by that emotionally sometimes, but it has made me a very strong person, and it's made me very able to handle other situations, and I have helped so many people, and, and I reach out to others, and they reach out to me, and it's not just about, abuse. It's also, it could be mental. It could be, not, they don't have to touch you. They don't have to, hurt you or make you feel horrible. It can be more of a verbal situation. It could be making you, feel this big, or that you're not worthy, or you're unable to do this right, and everything you do is wrong, and they're confrontational, and they isolate you from your friends and your family, and you don't realize it's happening because it happens so quickly and so precisely that you don't understand that it's affecting who you are, and it's affecting the people around you. And if you have children like I did, I have 3 beautiful children, you're all aware, and I love them very much. But it affects them as well, and you don't realize until later in life, one of them will say something like, I remember that, Mom, or, I remember him hurting you, and, you don't realize, but, that affects our children later in their lives. They have a hard time, finding that special person and being able to make decisions. And, it's not that we're to blame. It's just the situation is so, overwhelming. And you just have to remember, you're not alone. And you have family and you have friends and you have people you can talk to. And believe me, I understand how hard that is because, I'm one of those people that I was one people called and say, Kathy, can you go take care of this problem? Because I was always the strong one and I was always the one that had these big shoulders and, I didn't let people bother me. And then I got abused as well. And then so in some regards to that, it's made me be able to help everyone because even if you're a strong person and you're not one of those people that people put labels on everyone. Oh well, that's a weak person. That person's not gonna be able to make it, or that person's a strong person. They'll be able to go through anything. It isn't that. Anyone and everyone is susceptible to not having what exactly, I guess you could say, perfect. I don't really know what perfect is, or normal, because I am very non-normal person. But it's very important to learn these things and to learn that you're not alone, and that life can be what you want, and it can be amazing. You just have to realize that what's going on around you is not your fault. It's very hard to deal with sometimes, but I don't have any regrets. I really don't. Even, my husband beating the hell out of me and going through everything I went through. And, I have no regrets because each thing that I have been through has given me what I need now to be strong and to be able to make it in life and to be able to handle everything and to help other people and even help myself. And yesterday I did a motivational thing on loving yourself and being proud of who you are. And, that's so true in everything you do in your life. And you just have to, be able to understand it's not your fault and to reach out and to, get help if you feel uneasy about, whatever that may be. And I don't know what I would do without my family and my friends and my brothers and my sisters and my amazing husband over here. He's taught me so much. And it's very important that you take that time and you realize that you're not alone and to reach out. And as I stated yesterday, I'm here. Most of you know who I am and how to get a hold of me. If you need me or you just need to talk or you just want to message me on Facebook, do so and we'll sit and talk. Anyway, brightest blessings, love and light, everyone. I'm on my way to Mystical Fairy. I'll talk to you later.